Uncle San slammed his carrying pole over Chun Tao's back, cursing under his breath. That old rascal, refusing to leave the house. Today I'll send you to meet the king of hell. Chun Tao groaned and collapsed to the ground, snow trickling down her legs. Uncle San peered into the empty yard, dragged her towards the cliff outside the village, and kicked her hard off the edge. She lay on the edge and sighed. Now the house and the land are all mine. Then she picked up stones and threw them down until there was no sound, before dusting herself off and returning to the village, acting as if nothing had happened. In the evening, Chun Tao's daughter, Xiao Xing, returned from selling herbs in town, carrying a basket. As soon as she entered, she called out, "Mom, I'm back. I even bought you a piece of osmanthus cake." Uncle Sen quickly went to greet her, a fake smile on his face. "Xiaoxing, your mother went to the back mountain early this morning to dig for wild vegetables. She said she was going to make dumplings for you. I heated your food first. Eat up." Xiaoxing frowned. "My mother never goes that long empty-handed. I'll wait for her to come back so we can eat together." Her third uncle quickly stopped her. "The food will get cold and won't taste good. You eat first, and I'll make it again for your mother when she gets back." It wouldn't make a difference if she waited a little longer. Xiao Xing, being young, didn't think much of it and sat down to eat. But her family's big yellow dog paced anxiously in the yard, barking wildly towards the cliff. Actually, Chun Tao hadn't been killed in the fall, nor had she been hit in any vital areas by the rocks. She had only been unconscious for a while after falling into the bushes below the cliff. When she woke up, she was in terrible pain all over. The cliff wasn't very high, but it was covered in slippery moss, and she couldn't climb it no matter what she did. She called out for most of the night until her voice was hoarse, but no one came. When thirsty, she licked the dew from the leaves. When hungry, she ate wild berries nearby. She endured it for 2 days and was about to give up when she suddenly heard the big yellow dog barking from the cliff. This dog was the one Chun Tao had picked up from the snow years ago and had raised for 5 years. It was very intelligent and perceptive. The big yellow dog barked at the edge of the cliff. After a while, seeing no response, he turned and ran towards the town. Xiao Xing was searching everywhere for her mother when she saw the big yellow dog running towards her. The dog grabbed her clothes and pulled her forcefully out of the village. Xiao Xing panicked and followed the dog. Just as she reached the edge of the cliff, she heard a faint groan coming from below. She quickly ran back to the village and found the neighbors. They found a long rope and pulled Chun Tao up from the cliff. They then hurriedly called a doctor. Chun Tao lay in bed for more than 10 days. Uncle San pretended to bring her soup and water every day, but secretly resented that this woman was so lucky. This time it didn't work, so he had to think of another way. That night, while Xiao Xing was asleep, Uncle Sen secretly sneaked into Chun Tao's room, intending to steal her savings hidden in a wooden box. Just as he touched the box, the big yellow dog guarding the bed suddenly pounced and bit her wrist tightly. Screaming in pain, she frantically struggled to break free, knocking over the oil lamp by the bedside. The flames instantly ignited the mosquito net, and the thick smoke awakened Chun Tao. She hurriedly woke Xiao Xing, and the big yellow dog grabbed a wooden box from the ground and rushed outside. In the chaos, her third uncle's clothes caught fire, but she ignored the pain and fled back to her own home in a disheveled state. Although the fire didn't injure anyone, it partially collapsed Chun Tao's house and made her realize that unless her third uncle was eliminated, she and her mother would never have peace. Chun Tao lay in bed for half a month until she could get up and walk again. Xiaoxing stayed by her mother's side, crying and asking, "Mom, why did you lose your tooth? Did someone hurt you?" Chun Tao glanced at her third uncle, who was peeking through the crack in the door, and felt a chill in her heart, but she still took Xiaoxing's hand and whispered, "Mom accidentally slipped and fell. It's no one else's fault." She knew her third uncle was ruthless, and Xiaoxing was still young. Exposing him now might lead to even harsher retaliation. She had to wait until she recovered before making any plans. Her third uncle, listening outside the door, breathed a sigh of relief, already plotting his next wicked scheme. A few days later, Chun Tao was able to work in the fields. Her third uncle's eyes lit up, and he came up with a vicious plan. He secretly went to town and bought a packet of rat poison, hiding it in his pocket, intending to sneak it into the porridge while Chun Tao was cooking. But he didn't know that the big yellow dog had been following him the whole time, watching him buy and hide the poison. That afternoon, when Chun Tao went to the kitchen to cook porridge, the big yellow dog suddenly blocked his way, rubbing its head against his hand and making whimpering noises. Chun Tao found it strange. The dog had never acted like this before. Could something be wrong? He followed the big yellow dog's gaze to the kitchen and saw his third uncle secretly sprinkling something into the pot. Chun Tao's heart tightened, and she quickly retreated, hiding in the woodshed, too afraid to make a sound. When his third uncle brought the porridge to the table and called Xiaoxing and Chun Tao to eat, Chun Tao deliberately said, "I feel a little nauseous today and don't want to eat porridge. Why don't you give some to Big Yellow? He's been protecting us these past few days. He deserves some nourishment." His third uncle's heart skipped a beat, but he didn't dare to object for fear of arousing suspicion. He could only pour the porridge into the dog's bowl. Big Yellow sniffed it, then turned around and kicked the bowl over, barking wildly at his third uncle. Xiaoxing was stunned. What was wrong with Big Yellow? Why wasn't it eating, and was it throwing a tantrum? His third uncle panicked and quickly tried to smooth things over, saying, "Maybe the porridge is too hot. The dog doesn't like it. Let's ignore it, we'll eat." As he spoke, he picked up a spoon to take a bite of the porridge. Chun Tao suddenly reached out to stop him. "Wait, this porridge smells wrong. Let me try a bite first." Uncle San, startled, quickly pulled the spoon away. "Sister-in-law, you're not feeling well. Don't eat this. I'll get you a bowl of water." The more nervous he became, the more certain Chun Tao was that the porridge was poisoned. At that moment, De Huang suddenly rushed over, bit Uncle San's arm, and pulled him back forcefully, smashing the bowl in his hand to the ground. Porridge spilled everywhere. Soon after, several ants crawled onto the ground, and after touching the porridge, they all died within moments. Xiaoxing understood now, pointing at Uncle San and cursing, "You bad thing. You tried to harm my mother." Seeing that his plan had been exposed, Uncle San turned to run, but De Huang kicked him to the ground and held his leg down firmly. Chun Tao quickly. They called the neighbors, tied up Uncle San, and took him to the authorities. The authorities investigated and found out the truth. Uncle San had not only tried to harm Chun Tao, but had also stolen from several other households in the village. He was ultimately sentenced to exile, and Chun Tao's house and land were finally returned to their rightful owners. They thought life would finally be peaceful, but not long after, a plague broke out in the village. Many people fell ill, and even the doctors were helpless. Chun Tao and her daughter were not spared either, developing high fevers and becoming bedridden. Just as they were about to collapse, De Huang suddenly ran to the bedside with a herb she had never seen before, whimpering at Chun Tao. Chun Tao remembered that this herb grew at the foot of a cliff. She had survived by eating it while unconscious. She quickly had Xiao Xing, who was slightly more awake, bring the herb. The medicine was boiled into a soup, and after drinking it for 3 days, the mother's and daughter's fevers actually subsided. Chun Tao distributed the remaining herbs to the sick people in the village, and everyone who drank the soup gradually recovered. The villagers all said that De Huang was a spirit dog that had come specifically to repay their kindness. Chun Tao used her family's savings to open a small pharmacy in the village, specializing in treating and dispensing medicine for the poor. Xiao Xing also learned to identify herbs and medicine from her mother, and later became a well-known female doctor in the surrounding area. One should not be too greedy, as greed will only bring trouble upon oneself. Kindness is never wasted. If you are kind to others, they will remember you for a lifetime. Even animals know how to repay kindness, so people should have good intentions, guard their true nature, and not back down when they encounter difficulties. As long as there is light in your heart, you can always get through the darkness and usher in good days.